Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I thought I would attempt a project that I've been thinking about doing for a number of years now, and that project is to make a sort of like a little mini ripsaw go-kart, track go-kart as per se. So over the years I've just sort of been collecting enough junk, I suppose you could say, enough bits and pieces to sort of get enough of it together to see if it's going to work. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it, or I've got an idea on how I want it to work. Whether it's going to work or not is going to be the real question. But I'm going to give it a red hot crack, and hopefully I can get it to work. Or if I can get the basics of the track and all that to cooperate and work, then I know I'm on the right path. Not looking to hit any breakneck speeds with it. If it proves itself a viable little machine, probably do little upgrades to like motor wise, put a bigger motor on, and so on and so forth. But yeah, if you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe. If you don't, then you don't. But yeah, enough of me babbling and whatnot. We'll let's get stuck into it. Well, guys, after a little bit of a tinker with this motor, doesn't look like the motor is even salvageable. Tried to crank it over, probably did maybe half a turn and stopped. Not even 100% sure what motor is. I was told that it was a Hillman, I believe, and the rear-mounted engines. Came with a buggy frame, and had other plans for that buggy frame and whatnot, so I thought I'd hang on to this because I thought it might be useful for something. But the transmission still seems in good order. Like there's a selector arm here, tends to move freely, and it does come in and out of gear. So I'm thinking I take the motor off, leave the transmission where it is, and then have like a electric start stationary motor put there with a centrifugal clutch. That way I'll still have forward and reverse. Obviously I still got to strip down this a bit more, get rid of the unwanted framework, and then I've got a go-kart frame that I've got sitting outside at the moment. But all was not lost. I got the motor off. Didn't put up too much of a fight, but the beauty of it being a little motor, it was quite easy to manhandle. But it's off now, so what I'm thinking Got a little shaft here. Thinking I might lock a chain sprocket on here and maybe have a run to like a pit bike motor with a centrifugal clutch. I do have a little motor out. I think it's a 110 centrifugal clutch. Put that on there and then it's just rev up and go sort of thing, and I can still have the gears for the actual gearbox, like forward and reverse, and how many speeds this gearbox is, because I have no idea how many gears this thing's got, but who knows, I might even get another pit bike motor, one with a manual clutch or a semi-clutch, and then I have more gear ratios, so I can potentially have a high-low overdrive sort of setup. Yeah, coming along. Well, camera died. Well, actually it didn't die, SD card got full, but so I decided to carry on and get a few things done while I deleted some stuff from the camera. But while you were gone, I've mounted the gearbox, just sort of tacked it in place with a little hook here on top, and the arms here are sort of tacked in place so it's all freestanding and whatnot. So now it spins nicely, and then the front here mounted the axles with their drum brake setup in it, so that's all just temporary mocked up, but my plan is to put a plate coming from here to there, so that then I can mount drum brake solid, so then you're not going to rotate obviously, so then that'll be all part of the structure to stop this from bending. Obviously a bit of a triangular piece, a bit of a flat to locate that, and it should be all rigid. And still undecided whether this is the final resting spot for the gearbox. And yeah, I might try and move it further forward yet, I don't know. Might have it all move further forward and then try and have a little motor and stuff tucked in underneath. I don't know yet. Sort of make it up as I go along. Hopefully it all comes out in the wash. Yeah. Carry on now that I've got a bit of storage in the SD card. Moving on. Well, got the stiffener in, just tacked in place just in case I want to make some changes, but all that's really left to do here is put another stiffener from here to there just to stop the flexing that direction. Not that I think it's going to get much flexion or force in that direction, but you know, it's once I put the track on there and put all under tension, I might want to pull it down or whatnot, but that's the only other direction it can possibly go, because I doubt that that's going to let that flex anywhere. So happy with that. Still got to take a few burrs off, but I'll do all that once final, when I weld it out and tidy it up and paint it and all that. As you can see, I've successfully removed brake disc, hub and drive spline, which is sitting right there. So the plan is I'm going to cut here neatly, and I know there are going to be some Hillman fanatics who are going to be absolutely screaming at their screen and cursing my name and whatnot for cutting and shutting all this up, but too late now, and I apologise, but yeah. Anyway, the plan is, yes, cut this as neatly as possible, and then over here I have some, excuse the mess, I have some of these bearings which I'll machine up a hub, and then I'll make the hub a nice snug fit on the inside of this or on the outside, depending on what I feel like doing at the time. And this bearing will be a nice tap fit inside of there, and then I'll machine this down to suit the bearing, because then that'll go inside the gearbox, and this will be on the outside, and then I'll put a diameter there and with a thread on the end of it to lock it all together. And I'll maybe even put like a circlip to hold the bearing in as well, stop the bearing from coming out and all that jargon. So that's the plans so far. And then there'll be a drive sprocket mounted on the end of it, driving another sprocket around here somewhere, I'm thinking, and then that'll go down to the drive wheel and drive the track, hopefully. I'll get this side sort of semi done, and then obviously move on to the other side. Now that I know what I'm in for, probably cut a few corners on the next one. The next one will be quicker, obviously, because then I can just do a lot more cutting and shutting, and rather than unbolting it all, I can just sort of cut here around the tube, the whole thing will slide off, and then I can just cut the whole kit and caboodle off, and then just take the shaft and do away with the rest. We'll soldier on. So I've just been trying to machine this stub shaft. That's going to go from the gearbox to the sprocket, and it's quite hard. Assuming it's sort of like a high tensile steel, it's been like heat treated and all that. And my tips that I'm using are not enjoying themselves, and I don't know, not even the greatest finish. The plan was to just push through and get it round up until this area here, but and then move it inside and grab it on the 3 jaws on the actual round piece, because it's a little bit longer than what it needs to be, and then machine the final diameters from that, because I went off the theory that the outer diameter of the bar would be hard, and then the further you get into the center, the softer it will get. But it has taken ages to get down to what I've done now, and it's just, I'm thinking maybe what I might try and do is cut it here machine some form of spigot, then put a bit of pipe. And I do have this pipe here. That'll do the trick. But I'm just worried that it is not quite thick enough wall. Press that in, and then machine another piece on the end, and then press that inside of that, and then bammo. Which makes it a little bit easier. Rather than spinning up, because I haven't got any bar stock close to this diameter that I can just skim down the edges and then machine the end to what I need. Everything's I've got here is massively too big, so I'm leaning towards going this way. I think it's going to be strong enough. I hope it's going to be strong enough. And it's still fairly decent, and it's only going to be pushing around a human being. All the gearing or the sprockets and stuff like that's going to wear the brunt of it all. So thinking so that's going to do it. Hello everyone. You may have noticed the change of scenery. I'm currently back at work. I work in the mine, and it'll be a little stint between videos because I'm currently, once I get back from work, I'm off on holiday for a week. But I'm hoping to, once I get back from holidays, I will be able to get stuck into the ripsaw build, and I hope by the end of next video the ripsaw itself will be standing on its tracks and whatnot, and I'll be able to at least push it around my shed, and maybe start working on some propulsion in the following video and work from there. The piece that I didn't cover in the video was that the drums brakes at the front, I would have liked to have had disc brakes there, but I was building on a budget, and they were just there, so I thought I might as well use them. But the idea is that I'm going to have the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is going to pull on the cables that run to the brake drums, so that when I turn the wheel it pulls on one side, slowing down one track with the brake on the drum, and then the differential in the gearbox is going to transfer power to the other track, hopefully causing it to turn. But whether or not those drum brakes are going to be strong enough to do that, or if they're going to last long enough, because I know brake drums, they're good, but they do generate a lot of heat and fill up with dust and stuff from brake dust. But and then I'm going to have some sort of linking system so that when you put your foot on the brake, it just applies both drum brakes at the same time. So there's going to be a bit of a linkage and all that sort of stuff that I'll have to work that out eventually. Other than that, just going to have to see how the build goes from there. Yes, hopefully stay tuned, watch this space, whatever. Hopefully in the next few build videos it'll be done and I'll have something to show. Cheers guys.